Entire talk is going to be in money heist version, like how we can able to plan successful strategy in order to execute a proper product heist. Okay. So first of all, I'm a designer myself, and I started developing. So I do both the design and developing. Now I'm building bunch of products. So I do have some experience in this field. I have been doing it for almost like 3 years for now. And yeah, so this is a basic introduction about me. So the real target. So whenever we are planning to do a real, haste, let's say when you are planning to rob a bank, not you, I'm just asking. So there would be a real plan. So we have to target the real audience. Let's say we just need to plan a real target. Okay. Similarly, in the digital era, so we need to find our audience, market, and the competition. These are all like three pillars which we need to focus. When you go around the internet, a lot of people say different opinions, but after if you just watch closely, these are all the three basic fundamentals which you need to follow. So since you already have the theme, like the transportation and some other sectors which they have the problem statement which they have given, you just need to know found these three categories, like who's your audience, what's the market, and who's the competition, who's the big players actually playing in this field. Okay. So yeah. So what we need to do, we will discuss about the techniques to conduct the marketing research and analyze user needs and identify the gaps to build a compiling products. Okay. In order to do the marketing research, the one thing which I personally do is instead of just asking Chat GPT or any other generative AI stuffs, all you have to do is you need to be part of the community first of all. Let's say instead of asking a random stranger, instead of asking random stranger for a user survey or user persona, instead of creating that, you just need to go to the community and ask for their problems. If you just simply ask for the problems for sake of telling, they will just tell everything, but it's not the actual case. So you have to be have some personal connections with them, and you have to be the part of the community in order to solve the problem. Since GDG team has given you the six problem statement, I think so. You already have the problems. So what you have to do is go to the community and just sit quiet and observe what people are facing the problems, what problems they are facing. So at first you don't observe anything. I will just tell you the tricks how you can do that. So how to choose the first of all, how to choose the right problem. So you do have six problem statement, I think so. You have to choose the right problem. So let's say I'm a designer. I don't want to pick a problem that is not related to my field. It obviously it is very nice to do, but since I think you guys are having like 4 weeks timeline for this hack thing, you just need to pick a right problem that is more related to you. Okay. So there is a quote from a famous person. What he says is, "What is most personal is the most universal." So what it does mean? So it means some problems are most personal to us, and those problems we can able to build some products out of it. We can easily solve out of it. We can able to feel the empathy about that problem. Let me tell you briefly explain about this process. Solving our own problem is part to discovering universal solutions that is resonate with deeply resonate with others. Okay. So how we can solve our own problems? So that is a very crucial questions a lot of people used to do ask. Okay. In order to solve your own problems, you just need to do some certain things repetitively. Okay. Let's say I have a routine. I'm commuting from my home to my college. I'm able to see, I just need to do a lot of stuffs, right? I need to get up myself. I need to prepare. I need to bath. I need to eat. I need to commute myself to the college, and I need to take tickets. I need to go through the traffic. There are a lot of problems. We don't understand like immediately. We can able to observe the problems immediately. But once you doing this routine for a very long time, let's say 1 or 2 months, you get easily able to observe the problems around you. So traffic is one of the biggest problems, and taking tickets in a crowded bus is also a problem. And there are a lot of cars going on with one person driving it. We can think about the carpooling services, something like that. It's just actually saves you the lot of time. Also thinking from the sustainability side, it's actually makes sense. So that's how you can just solve your own problems first of all. But in order to relate with the problem statement which the team has given to you, all you have to do is just sit down and talk with your mentors and closely observe what is closest problem which you can solve. I will just show you how. I made an observation. Okay, so everything in this universe is a clusters. Okay, when I say clusters, clusters are basically in machine learning. Clusters are basically a group of similar objects or data points, which is which will be plotted in a certain base. Okay, let's say you are a person who likes biryani. Okay, and and also you like to play football, and also you like to do bike riding. Okay, so these are all like separate categories of activities which you are doing. Okay, basically the hobbies and interest. Okay, um, within these clusters you can able to form a community, or else there is already a community exists within this clusters. Basically I will just show you one demonstration here. This is you. Okay, and I like biryani. So these are the peoples, like how many peoples are liking this biryani. Okay. And same myself as a person, I like to do bike riding. Okay. So I used to do bike riding. Okay. These are the so many peoples are actually doing it. So I like playing football instead of watching cricket or playing cricket. I would like to play football and watch football. Okay, so these are the people. Number of people are actually doing it. Okay, and you see the number of public contributions. There are very less number of people are actually doing the public contribution. If you just see it from the bird eye view, you can able to observe these are the people. These are the clusters. This is the one cluster. This is one cluster. This is one cluster. This is one cluster. If you just observe, the beauty of this thing is you, without knowingly, you are a part of a community already. So you like biryani. So you are a part of communities of person who likes biryani. So you like to do bike riding. You used to do. There is a lot of people are actually like they like to do bike riding. So there is one community possibilities there. So I think there are a lot of communities related to bike riding. Football clubs are there. Food clubs are there. NGOs, public contribution means NGOs are there. And cinema, basically cinefield is something. So you see a single human is a part of lot of communities. Now you have to, what you have to do is take your pencil and just do brainstorming, like what are all the activities which you used to do and which you like the most. Okay, so now you can able to resonate on average. I just made this survey for past 1.5 years because I was about to build a community platform. So an average person does almost like 18 to 19 hobbies and interests they are basically interested in. So Reddit is a place where it actually have a community for almost anything. Okay, so take the pencil, take your pen and do a brainstorming, like what are the things which interest you, and check if there is any existing communities out there. Now regarding to this topic, so they have given 6 problem statements. Okay, all you have to do is resonate with how closely you can just able to match with those cluster. Let's say I can do public contributions. Okay, and I'm interested to do public contribution, but I don't know in which category I need to do. Okay, so this clusters can split into no separate small clusters. Okay, for example, helping animals, like kind of NGOs for animals like the Blue Cross of India, and some other NGOs which is for elder peoples. So you just have to decide which cluster you are in, and you just have to match with what problem statement these people are given. Okay, so now we do have the clusters. Now you have your own idea of how I'm a part of all these communities. Now, if there is no communities exist on bike riding, go and create it and be the organizer and do it. Okay. But in this topic, you are going to solve, you are just going to find the closest matching cluster which is related to you, okay, related to the problem statement. So yeah, being a part of community provides a clear awareness of its challenges. Now, as I said before, if you just go pick any one of the things, let's say the public contribution. For in this example, I will pick public contributions. So in public contributions, you are part of it. There may be a lot of problem statement those people can able to um, give you. Okay, you can able to, if you are part of the community, then you also feel it like, so these are the problems happening but nobody fixed it, so I'm going to do that. So that's the motivation you have to do it from your end. So let's say on the public contribution, the main problem which people used to state is um, nobody comes to do doing for volunteering works. Okay, so nobody is really interested. That is one part. Okay, but there are interested people, many more interested people who likes to come and contribute on their weekends. Okay, but they don't know how can I able to find those communities, like NGO communities, like communities for elder peoples, communities for animals. So that is one problem statement. There is no clear visibility. What it makes? So there is no clear visibility. Because of that, the people who's willing to come are not able to come and do their work, do their contribution. Okay. Now let's take this thing. You like the food, but there is a problem in being the finding the best food across the town. Okay. You may probably use Swiggy and Zomato, a lot of things, but those reviews and those stuffs are mostly automated thing. But in order to create a centralized, decentralized version of it, you can just think about like, how can I find the genuine products from the CBU surroundings. Okay, now let's think about this bike ride thing. So you may able to find a group of riders are there, but there is no proper collaboration with them. They probably have a WhatsApp group, but they don't have a specific community or something like that. But now what you have to do is just go into the community and match yourself, which is the problem statement which you like the most and which you are already doing it without you knowing, like something like this, and go ahead and find the problem statement. So don't pick the problem statement blindly from generative AI, because those data are mainly trained from the abroad countries. In our country, India is country with a huge diversity, right? So you have to be very careful with that, with generative AI, when generating the problem statement or user personas. Okay, so you can just get the problem statements, and you already have problem statement. You have to get the real problems. Okay, by digging deep, you have to join the communities. So okay, since I talk about this, how you can just make yourself your cluster and find those which problem statement closely matches with you. Now, in order to execute a great plan, you just need a great team. Okay, so the team who's behaving like an ant. Okay, so the superpower of ant is it's very hyperactive. It can move faster and it can do things with such a unity. So you have to find a team like that. Okay, basically the ant mode, you have to be ant mode. Okay, so assembling the dream teams, I will just explain the roles and responsibility. Like, let's say some people may build this solve this problem statement as a single person. That's totally fine, but some people prefer to work with 3 or 4 people. So let's say one designer in a team, one developer in a team, one marketing person in a team, basically something like that. Okay, since this entire presentation is related with money heist, I will just try to match with this thing. Every heist so requires a skilled and specialized team, as I said before. So what do you need? So who are all the person you would like to have in a team? Okay, so I will just, so the team. Okay, so just kidding, this is not a team, but I just want to resonate with the team which you want to build. The power of skilled team can work miracles. So as I said before, if you just work together, you can able to do bunch of tasks at a very good ratio. So the dream team looks like something like this. Okay, so let's take a visionary. So you have to be like a professor. He's a visionary who plans stuffs. He takes time, but he has a backup plan for everything. So he identify the root cause, how he wanted to rob the bank. So all the sort of things we can just, if you just watch this series, so you can able to resonate what I'm trying to say. Okay, so he has planned for everything. So he has done enough research, like this is what happens if it fails, then I will pick this one. So that's the mentality you need to have. Okay, and now the next person you need to have in your team is the visionary and designer. So the Berlin is well known for attention to detail. So okay, so he closely observes all the things. You can be a visionary, but if you don't have an attention to detail, then you are missing something there. So it's good to have a designer in a team where he can able to come up with so nobody would like to use a product that looks like not user centric, looks like shit. But a genuine designer, let's say even a noob designer can able to build good looking design actually. So just try to have a designer, or else internet is free. Just ask, just go to LinkedIn and ask any mentors or any designers for help. Say you are just trying to solve a problem for CVE, it's a tech for a good program, just explain them. They will be very happy to help you out. So it will just take them 1 or 2 hours, but they will very happy to see you all folks are doing it. So they will just come and help you out. Just do it. If you don't ask, you don't know, you don't get the answers, right? So just go ahead and try it. Next thing, the passionate developers. So you can have the best design, you can just have the good ideas, but if you don't have a passionate developer who's obsessed with the problem. So a lot of people say you just have to have that consistency, persistence, a lot of things. But to be honest, in my experience, obsessed with the problem, obsessed with the technology, you can able to unlock a lot of potential. So in this episode, in the series, Palermo, like he was master plan of all the engineering stuffs, basically how we can able to accomplish this heist successfully. So you just need to find a developer who's passionate. I'm not talking about in an experience level. Even a beginner level developer can able to do a lot of wonders if he is passionate enough, if he is curious enough, he can able to do that. Now the storyteller, obviously. So if you just watch the series, you can able to understand. You can just build a product. You can just do a very good design. You can have the visionary ideas, but if you don't have proper some person who like to explain the the bits, basically the product, or basically the storytelling. Every product needs a storytelling. People love stories. People love emotionally to connect with the products. That's what Apple is doing. That's what a lot of companies are if you just watch Indian ads, the personally they do connect with the emotions. Let's say if you just watch any soap advertisements, you can able to see they are just resonating with the personal emotions. So Indian ads are Indians, basically the Indians are connected with much more emotions, empathy, a lot of things. So that's why if you just see most of the ads, they don't have the funky taglines or something like that. Okay, so they used to be straightforward, show empathy, show love. So that's what they are doing. So you have to have good story to tell to promote your product. Okay, so these are all the four teams: visionary, a designer, and a passionate developer, and the storyteller. Okay, now in order to craft the product, okay, so you just need to have the perfect blueprint. When I so what does blueprint means? When I say blueprint, it means the scope of the project, the number of features the project that is going to have. Okay, so you need to cut short the number of features, because you are not going to build a next $1 billion company. You are just actually solving a problem for good cause. Okay, so you just need to complete it within the next 4 weeks. Then, so for that use case, you just need to think about the MVP, minimum viable product. But most of the people doing a wrong things here. So they used to do brainstorm a lot of interesting feature, and they underestimate the timeline for the software development requirements, basically. And they will just, if you just plan to complete this particular feature, let's say I'm planning to solve the transportation problem in Coimbatore, so I'm going to bring an online ticketing system. Okay, I will just try to think about like all the apps, all the features, crazy ideas. I will just ask ChatGPT, or I will do the groundwork, and I will just finalize the scope. Now, when it comes to the implementation, we all just do this mistake. Even the experienced programmer or product manager, they are dealing with the no deadlines. So since you guys are no just beginning this in this project, so what advice I'm giving you is don't underestimate the product features. Just instead of MVP, minimum viable product, try to build most minimal viable product. MVP. Okay. So MVP. Okay. So that's what you need to do. When I say most, minimum viable product, just finalize the scope and try to cut short it even down. your your product that needs to solve one problem at a time, so it doesn't needs to solve multiple problems. Okay, it just need to solve one problem. Let's say I'm very no frustrated with getting a ticket in a crowded bus. Okay, then think about a solution for that. Just check if there is any existing solution is there. Chalo is there, which is, in North India, they are using that app to buy tickets. I think in South India, they are also implementing it. Yeah, I'm just saying it for example. Okay. This is the problem statement and you have to cut short. You don't need to, build an entire payment system and you don't need to do that. So that's the thing part of most minimal viable product. Okay. So in this particular chapter, I will just explain you how you can craft the roadmap and how you can just finalize the problem and how you can just build the MVP. Okay. To quickly create a project scope, I came up with a method called mental model called the traffic light mental model. Okay. So basically mental models are nothing but is a way of doing things. Lot of people. So for example, there is one mental model called inverse principle. Okay. Let's say if I'm just telling you people to build an to-do app. Okay. So, okay. Now you guys will go and search for all the amazing features and you will just do your own research and come up with the MVP, basically the project scope, not the number of features this to-do app is going to have. But instead of doing like this, you guys need to think about what are all the things that this particular to-do app doesn't needs to have. Okay, basically the opposite of doing it. Okay, so instead of saying like I would like to add this feature, I would like to add this particular feature to solve this problem, don't do that. Instead of that, ask yourself with this inverse principle, inverse mental model, you can just reverse the process. Like, okay, I don't want this application to be crashed. I don't want this application to look fancy. I don't want this application to create nested number of to-do tasks. So these are all the things. If you just have the negative opinions, which you jotted down in a paper or in any tools which works for you, and when you are creating a project scope, you just need to match with the one things which not to do things. Okay, not to do things, and you have to, whenever you are bringing something new to the scope, you just need to check with the these are the things which we are not supposed to do. Okay, so if there is anything by accident, if you just bring any new feature, but on the list you have mentioned this thing, then you have to probably remove it, because people tend to remember the negative things compared to the positive things. Okay, so you just need to have the negative thoughts about your products. Okay, and you have to write it down. What are the things which your competitors are doing it, which you hate, that needs to be jotted down. Okay, so these are the things I don't want this in my application. Okay, so now you have a whole different perspective. Now coming back to the topic, I have explained the inversion principle. You can just Google it down. I will also share some of the useful resources by end of this session. Now coming to the traffic light mental model. So I have been working with a lot of mental models. So I just experimenting a lot of things. So personally, I just invented this traffic light mental model. Okay, so I did a lot of research for this. But yeah, let me tell you how you can just simplify this project scope thing. The normal traffic light works like this. Okay, the red light means for stop, yellow light means for get ready, and green for go. Okay, but the same principle, but we are going to plug it to the the product discovery phase. In our case, the traffic light mental model, the red means the problem statement, the single problem statement which you are planning to solve, which is means by means the team which they given you the six problem statements, right? So that is the that one liner sentence that needs to go there. And LO means the caution and investigation. So I will explain you this process, like how this particular flow works in the next slide, and the solution. Okay. If you just think it in a very simple way, if you can able to solve the problem in a layman terms, if you can explain the problem to someone in a layman terms, then you almost win. Okay. Now, I will just show you. I will just show you this entire problem statement thing. I will just show you the demo of the problem statement which I already solved, so that you can just guys can try to implement it. Okay. So probably I will write a blog about this, so how you can just utilize this traffic light mental model. Okay. Now this is one of the most important things that you just need to do in order to build a successful product. Okay. The tools of trade, leveraging the technology for success. So what does it mean? So it means you can be the best developer, you can be the best, designer, visionary, and the man of action, whatever it is. But if you don't have the right set of tools, then you are messed up. Okay. So that's the honest fact here. So I will just show you in this digital age, utilizing those appropriate tools to solve your problem, not only significant time, but also it saves a lot of time. Okay. So when I say tools, I mean this. Okay. So these are all the certain tools which I used to craft, let's say, quickly build my MVPs. Okay. So ChatGPT, as I said before, don't use ChatGPT for creating the fake user persona, fake user testing, and fake data generation. Don't do that. Okay. Don't use that ChatGPT for this causes. Okay. Instead, you can just use ChatGPT to enhance your development, like using since if you're a college student, you can just use your college ID to get GitHub Students Developer Pack, and you will have the access to the Copilot. That will help you to save a lot of time. You can just give a prompt. It will just write the code block for you. Whenever you type, it will write the test cases for you. So that is the thing. That is the beauty of ChatGPT and Copilot, which you can use it. Okay. Don't use it for the factual information. If you want to use it, there are certain websites that is having certain real-time ChatGPT summarizer. So you can just use that. You can just put the URL of your competitor website and just ask questions about it. It will just give you the factual information because it is having the reference. Otherwise, it will hallucinate and it will just create a chaos. Okay. Now, Figma. So obviously, Figma is a go-to tool for designing your product. So Figma recently released a lot of dev tools. Okay. You can just create a prototype. If any of you, one of your friends, if you don't have a developer or designer, you can just do it. You can just use any existing templates. There are a lot of, there is a website. I will just share you the links. I will just show all the links. There is certain websites there. You can just go ahead and use those templates, and you can just, by simply dragging and dropping, you can able to create an admin dashboard. You can do that. Okay, Prisma. So let's say if your product is mostly on web based, okay, and you are working with Postgres, or if you are working with geospatial data, then Postgres is an ideal option. Then you just need an ORM. So you just need to write all those SQL queries. You can do that with ChatGPT to get the SQL queries. But Prisma is something very interesting. You can just, the developer experience that Prisma has, it's mind blowing. You can just, even a beginner can easily able to catch up with it's kind of like, explain like AMP5. So Prisma, you can use Prisma without any hassle. Okay, instead of writing a raw SQL query, you can do that. Cloud for Workers. So absolutely, I need to talk about this. So since for this Tech for Good session, so you guys will be planning to build an APIs, right? The APIs to communicate, to share the data. Okay. So in order to do that, a lot of people will prefer Django, which is absolutely fine. And some people may prefer Node.js, Express, a lot of things. But Cloudflare is offering this Cloud for Workers as a service where you have to write just 5 lines of code. You can be able to create, serverless APIs in matter of seconds. They have a very good documentation. You can just write I just want to fetch all the GitHub followers, write me an API for this with Cloudflare Workers. This is a prompt. It will just give you the entire code, just 10 lines of code. You can just copy paste it. And by going to the Cloudflare website, you can directly push it. So it's just like, typing something and hitting the save. That will deploy the workers. You can just create n number of APIs. You can just create n number of APIs to communicate with each other. Very simple. It will save you a lot of time. And if your problem, you're planning to solve this problem by creating a web-based application, then my first go-to choice is to use Svelte, because it's very easy. If you know HTML, if you know JavaScript, then that's it. You can just able to create beautiful application, performance based application with Svelte very easily. And Next.js is also in a very good option. They have tons of websites. I will just share you the links. You can just literally fork the repo, or you can just deploy to your own Vercel account, just changing the credential. Now you do have, working application hosted. You can just then make the small minor changes to it. Yeah. So, but when it comes to native apps, don't build the apps with XML thing. So if it is for this, even that's totally fine. But this is for the common cause. So you have to think about the developer experience here. So when I say developer experience, it's not about only the number of lines, reducing the number of lines of code, but also I'm just talking about the maintainability, ease of use, how you can easily able to understand, how easily you can able to scale it in future. So these are the things. So Android has this Jetpack Compose, a declarative UI toolkit. You can do a lot of wonders with it. In matter of seconds, they have good use cases repositories, sample repositories there. You can just go ahead and look at it. And also SwiftUI. SwiftUI is mind blowing. They do also have a lot of repository on GitHubs. Okay, so you can just go ahead and do that. So these are all like overall things which I used to work. It totally depends upon your use case. Yeah. Now, next is a very important topic, important point: overcoming security system, managing risk and challenges. So since we are talking about the heist here, right? So we are talking about robbing the opportunities, like in the sense, like how his team are doing. Okay. So there may be some challenges when now we have the blueprint, now we have the visionary, beautiful teams, performant team, and now we have the clear strategy of how we can pick the problems. A lot of things is ready, but we need to overcome those security systems and we have to manage risk, right? Those challenges. So in order to, just like Heist encounters security systems, product development faces a lot of risk. Okay. So when you are about to start an actual development, that's where the real problem comes from. Okay. So as a beginner, you may face some issue that would take 2 to 3 days to solve. Okay. Don't waste your time on that. Just reach out to your mentors on LinkedIn. Just if, let's say, if you are building Android app, if you are facing any issues, just reach out to 10 people, post it on Stack Overflow, post it on community. There are a lot of people are willing to answer questions. Just do that. Okay. Don't get stuck. And if you just got stuck with these things, very basic things, then you will lose your motivation. Then 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 that's it, right? So when you lose the motivation, that's it. So we are just building it for a good cause. Then we have to put a lot of empathy and commitments to it. So don't lose hope. Just reach out to your mentors, just reach out to people, ask for help. If there are a lot of good people are ready to answer your questions, so that's not a problem here. Just do it in case if you have any problems. Even reach out to me, I will help you out. Now the execution. Now you overcome the challenges. Now you are just actually implementing the plan to life. Okay, actually you are just, now you are the person who is implementing all the strategy. Now you finalize the tech stack, problem statement, you have the team, you have the blueprint, you have covered all the challenges. Okay, now you just need to execute it. How you can do that? The most efficient technology stack is the one you are familiar with. Let's say you are a designer who is using Sketch or even Microsoft Paint. That doesn't matter. Okay, don't try to use new technology in order to build something. Okay, since you have very quick deadline, so probably the best decision you can make is to use the thing which you already familiar with, which you already know. Let's say if you know the web development, just go ahead with that. If you know the Android development, just go ahead and with that. Okay, just do that. So that's the thing. And apart from this thing, avoid wasting time by selecting unnecessary technology. Okay, Don't just go to Google and search for like what is the best technology, what is the best database, what is the thing. Okay, ask mentors for help. Okay, don't go for AWS or any other technologies because that is overcomplicated. Okay, so all you have to do is, there are a lot of beautiful solution, tiny SaaS application database providers are there, a lot of third party services are there. You can just, they have tremendous free tiers. You can just go ahead and do that. Okay, simply. Not sure. Hello.
Yeah, Sanjay, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Where did I stop?
I know you said like you are going to share something. Like we were able to hear you. Like it was not interrupted.
Oh, okay, okay, that is fine. So, okay, so the one most effective technology stack is the one you are familiar with. Okay, so use the technology which you know. Don't overcomplicate things. The purpose of this MVP is to build actual product without wasting time. Okay, don't waste your time just by doing the Google search like how to build the what is the best database, what is the best design, and what is the best design practices. Okay, don't waste your time on this thing. Put your time on actually building the product, execute it. Okay, now okay, so don't people know, so the solution which you are going to build, people are going to use the product, not the technology. So don't focus more on that. You can just always improve that technology. You can just change the technology later. But again, from the people perspective, from the common audience perspective, people love to use the product. They don't give a no anything to the technology stack which you are using. Okay, the simplicity is crucial when developing a minimum viable product. So as I said before, you have to properly craft your MVP very short. Make it very short. Don't add unnecessary features. You don't. Your website doesn't need a dark mode. Your application doesn't need a dark mode. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, don't do that mistake. And maximizing the loot. Okay, so after executing those strategy, you just need to maximize the loot. When I say maximize, uh, scaling the product to across all the cities in India. So you just need to think about it. Okay, successful ace is not complete without maximizing the loot again. So like what they did in money ace, so they robbed all the golds from the bank, all the cash from the bank, right? So similarly, a digital product success extend beyond the launch. When I say beyond the launch, you just need to think about the localization here. So the products which you are building is not actually only for the English people. So the researchers are saying that the survey, there is one survey that is saying that in future, most of the people in India, they will speak their regional language compared to English. Okay, that is going to be a feature because India is going to focus more on bringing their own language up. Okay, on each states, each cities. Okay, so try to add the localization, try to add the language support in future. Okay, and so you may extend this product to Kerala. So you just need to probably need localization for Malayalam. So that's the thing. So you have to think about it. Okay, and also apart from all this localization, you just need to share this project across all the communities. Okay, so one particular thing about the businesses, you have to show you are in the business. Either you do nothing, you don't, if your product doesn't involve solve any problems or doesn't involve any money making, that's totally fine. But the beauty of business is you have to show up every day on internet and say that we are exist. So you have to prove that. So you have to make regular online posts. You have to solve the problems. You have to share social media posts. You have to make sure that you are just showing up every day. So people will forget everything after 3 to 4 days if you don't exist. So how you can imagine a product like this would exist if you don't show up on internet? So just share loudly as possible across all the groups, even Reddits and even your local communities, etc. Okay, just share it, just showcase it, just show up every day. So that's the secret strategy in order to acquire a lot of customers, genuine customers. Okay, these are all the things which you have to do after the post launch. Track data from, inception. What I'm trying to say is track the data from the beginning itself. So try to add Google Analytics, try to add another any other open source analytics tracking software. Just try to track each and every clicks. Every metrics is matter for it, because you can't make any decision by just assuming, because you already assumed that these are all the problems is there, and you just assume this feature is going to work. But in real world market, that is not going to happen. So people will turn a table. So this is not which I expected, something like that. So all you have to do is, even on each button, try to add a tracker. Just track people click this button this much time. So how we can make this button more prominent, so that people will regularly click this button in order to enhance the experience. And observe user behavior closely. So don't ask people to use your, how was your experience or something like that. Just observe them, just give your product, observe them how they are using it in real person. So if I'm just building an app, what I will do is I will just connect with multiple peoples, and I will just tell them to complete a task. So now without my instruction, if they can able to complete the task which I mentioned, then that's a success, that's a victory, right? So people can able to, because my design made them to not think more about decision making. It's very easy for eyes, so that they can do all the tasks without any hustle. So all you have to do is track the metrics, observe the user behaviors, observe those patterns, try to reduce the friction as much as possible. So people don't like friction. When I say friction, let's take an example. You bought the subscription for Netflix, or any other third party services. Now you don't like the services, you would like to cancel. Now it would take you to know 3 to 4, maybe sometimes in Amazon Prime there are like 6 to 7 steps you just need to complete. These are all like each and every steps, they are adding in friction, they are adding, making us to navigate to a new screen. See, each and every second is valuable for user. They will easily get distracted. So that's the strategy for Amazon. They are just dragging it for up to 7 screen. Before 7th screen, they are just showing one screen and saying that, we are giving you a final offer, please continue with that, something like that. Some personalization there, personalized offer is there. Now user will just get convinced and they will just continue. Continue with the service. So that's what most of the SaaS based companies will do. But in your scenario, since you are solving this problem for a good cause, so you have to reduce the friction, reduce the number of clicks, reduce the visibility. So that needs to be clearly possible. So clearly it needs to be visible. So make it easy for users. And share your progress transparently. As I said before, share all the progress transparently. If you are building it in an open source, that's totally, I'm very happy for you, because you choose this route, because everybody has this transparency. But if you're planning to make this problem statement into a business cause, so something you're just planning to make this as a business, then try to share transparently. So you just share the what are things you are doing. Just make sure just audience, your users are actually connected with the product. Now, so the final thing, I'm about to close my session. The final thing is, be the change you wish to see in the world. So people may say your solution may not be worth enough to solve a problem, but that's not an end. So just try every day and just make little improvements on each and every day. Make little bets, and you can able to achieve the proper even if not in this event, maybe in the next event you can able to make it. So that's my point. And so in the world, everybody tries to be like someone else. I just want to be like Elon Musk, I just want to be like some other person. So but the reality is, the beauty of you is you. So that's the thing. So the way you think, the way you grown up, the way you speak with other people, the way you think about the ideas, the way you solve the problem is much more unique. Don't try to blindly take advices from any members, including me, just verify it from your end and just be you. You are the only person who's going to make a decision. So just make a good decision, just be you and just do stuffs. Okay. And you can just follow me at spikysanju.com/links. So I do have all the links, all my social media links. And before closing my session, I would like to show some of the tools which I used to use on my day-to-day basis. So there is one website called ontools.co. Okay, this is the website. I will just share the link. You can just okay. So this is a tools. I talked about mental models, right? The traffic light principles and the inversion principles. This is having a lot of frameworks there. If you don't like the traffic light mental model concept, that's totally fine. If you don't like the inversion, that's totally fine. But here, there are like a lot of principles, lot of experimented principles there. You can just go there and you can just able to solve the problem. Let's say there is a problem solving. This mental models are there. So what you have to do is, let's say the issue tree is there. I'm going to open it. If I just zoom it, you see low adoption of feature X. Let's say my application is having a feature that is, but nobody is using that. There are two possibilities. Customer don't know about the feature. Customers know about the feature, but still they don't use it. Now you can even split the issue into smaller chunks. The feature is not discoverable in the product. Obviously, if customer doesn't know about the feature, then it's not visible to the eyes. That is the one problem. Customer don't learn about the feature outside of the product. They don't know how to use that feature. So that is one problem. You see, we just solve one problem here. We just find two problem statements here. Now we can just build a solution on top of it. If we just go down here, customers have not tried it. Customer tried it. They decided not to use it. So this is a negative phase. They believe them, the feature can help them. They don't believe them. Okay. So these are all the things which causes in a negative terms. You see, this is the principle. It's called issue tree. This is what I'm trying to say. All you have to do is pick a problem statement, just try to break it down. Okay, break it down. At the end, you will end up having the real problem use cases. Now you can easily think about the solution. Let's say the feature is not discoverable in the product. Then that means I will just change the design. The focus needs to be on the design side. Okay, I will just change the visibility. I will just make it much more visible, make it much more prominent in the design. Okay, customers don't learn about the feature outside. Now I have the visibility, but customer don't know how to use that feature. Now, what you have to do is you have to create a small video link. So adding a small YouTube link makes sense, right? When user clicks on it, they can see the video explaining how you can use that. You don't need to think outside of the box, to do these kind of things. Just a simple solution works. A lot of things are there. You can just use it. And for design resources, you can just use evernote.design. So evernote.design. So I will just also share it. So here you can just find design templates, Figma templates, and UI resources, icons, color tools, a lot of other stuffs. What are things you can also learn about the designs here, which is much more good thing to do. And so these are all the two tools which you can use. And third thing is, since if you are planning to go with the web development, I will probably suggest you to so there is a Versal templates. If you are planning to use Next.js, Versal is having a number of templates where basically if you just want to build a blog, you can do it. If you just want to build an AI chat, there is also a repository. All you have to do is take your OpenAI key and you have to paste it. Then you have to deploy it. Now you have your own AI chatbot. They have the e-commerce kit there. All you have to do is change the database credentials. Lot of things are there. So sky is the limit. You can just utilize instead of creating it from the scratch, just take any existing template, just try to match a similar templates and just try to make minor modification, a slighter modification in design wise or database wise or whatever it is. Okay. Then deploy it. So you have the solution. It doesn't needs to be, you just need to build it from the scratch always. You can do that. And obviously, there are tons of resources there, but I would strongly suggest you to also explore the open source side. instead of just directly jumping into the problem statement, uh, just try to search it on GitHub. Okay, let's say um, transportation ticket management app. Just search with a GitHub. Okay, you will end up finding a lot of application, open source application. Just clone it, or you can just contribute to it and use it for your community. So that makes sense. You don't always need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, just try to use the existing resources as much as possible. And the final thing is, just try to ask a lot of questions. The curiosity is something which brings a lot of ideas. All you have to do is just ask a lot of questions, talk with your mentors. Your mentors are, don't underestimate your mentors, because those working professionals have a lot of experience. They tackle a lot of problems in their day-to-day life, even in the product. So just ask a lot of questions. They are very happy to, since it's for a good cause, most of the people would be happy to help you out. Okay, so even myself, I'm ready to help you out. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask it now or else later. I will just, any questions?
Yeah, if you want, you can also put your questions on chat also. If you want.
Yeah, so you can use chat. Any questions? Any
If
way
there
to
is a
judge?
question,
Any way to judge what to provide free and what to do commercialize? Okay, that's a very good questions. Good question, Anmol. Okay, in terms of features of platform. Okay, so the one which costs you a lot of money, which is uh, from the, let's say if you place planning to build a platform that is useful for a lot of free people, you can just have always have a freemium version. That's how the business model works, right, in SaaS. But you don't need to give core features of your application to users. So for example, if you are building a community platform, um, you can able to add events with usage based events like 4 to 5 events per month, or you can just rate limit that. You can just set the hard limit for that thing. But you don't need to possibly need to give emailing things and a lot of other stuff which enhancing their process, which saves a lot of time. So this is from the business perspective. If you talk about the open source, then I think so. So don't always give if it is cost a lot of money to run service. Let's say don't give OpenAI credits, so user can use it for unlimited of times. That will just basically creating a loss for it, right? Loss for your product. So basically, don't do these kind of things. Instead of that, just give a freemium test. That's why the freemium model works. So basically, they will acquire a customer. If they like it, they will use it with the free version. And if they want to, go with additional features to enhance their business or other use cases, they will just update it. Yeah. So that's how the business works. Any other questions? Can you say what's the basic things which we have to do to good at become a good UI designer? Oh, okay. So actually, it's very easy to. So I started my career as a developer. Then I later switched. I just started exploring the design. So in that way, it became very easier for me because uh, getting started with UI design is something you don't need, design degree. A lot of people are spending tons of money. Google is providing a free course. All you have to do is understanding the apps which you use on day-to-day basis. Let's say if you use Google Pay a lot of times, uh, previously the first version of Google Pay had, nowadays we have, whenever we are opening the Google Pay, there is this visible button there, scan to pay. Okay, when user clicks on that, you can able to just that directly opens the camera, you can scan it. Okay, so that's the thing. But when Google Pay was launched in India, okay, they kept that feature. You have to tap 3 times to get that scan to pay. So in phone pay, Paytm and all, it's clearly visible. Google, no, they thought they wanted to share, pay via contact number, okay, but they kept it like 3 taps. That's an additional friction. Lot of people complained it, okay. Then Google realized it, okay. They just need to change the UI. They don't want to have multiple clicks to do a simple task when other competitors are doing that. So they just reduce the number of frictions, number of steps, and do it. So this basic reasoning will able to you can able to sense what is the good design and what is the bad design. If something is not working, if something is not uh, in a not good looking in a pleasant way, then that's obviously a bad design. And also you just need to think about the business perspective. Don't always think from the user perspective, because business needs to survive. So you have to think from the both perspective, like from the user perspective, from the business perspective. So when you have this basic logical reasoning, like, okay, so they should have gone this way, they should have do this way. I have seen some other apps, they are doing it in such a nice way. So why they are not doing it? So these kind of basic questioning, you can know, if you have that common sense, then you can easily able to um, be a designer. And obviously you need to master any tools like Sketch. For design, obviously I said Figma. So you just need to have that logical reasoning, as well as good skills with the tool which you are using. If you have both, you can able to create multiple iterations. So obviously design is biased. So some people like your design, some people may not. But again, so it's always subjective. It keeps on changing based upon the metrics. And how as a UI designer you can drive impact, share ideas, solution without building it in. Okay, so uh, okay, so that's a good question, Anmal. So okay, for example, there was a problem where designers wants to build a web application. A lot of people want to build web application. So there are so people thought about like, hey, how about a no code tool which we can leverage our powers, leverage our ideas, okay, so which can make our ideas into reality. So that's how Webflow born, and WordPress, and a few other things like Framer recently released text to UI, text to website. Basically you can just type it, it will generate an entire website for you. So the future looks like we all developers messed up basically. So all you have to do is try to understand how AI works and try to use it more enhanced. Try to understand how to use it wisely. Like as I told before, you have to use the tools very wisely, and you can able to do that. So as a designer, as you said, you can use no code tools, and there are tons of no code tools in the market like Framer, Webflow, and Bubble is there. Bubble is the first player in this, very big player in this here thing. You can also play with Zapier for API integration, which is just a drag and drop. So yeah, so that's the thing. So I think Canva is also working on websites. So if you know Canva, how to use Canva, you can able to create websites. So they are secretly working on that feature. So yeah, so no code is the only option. The best place to get started with Tailwind CSS. Is that a good framework? Okay. Okay, so that's a good question. Okay, so personally, I do write CSS, but again, Tailwind CSS just changed the game, like for especially for the web space. Okay, imagine before and after Tailwind. Okay, before Tailwind, people used to do a lot of custom CSS. Website looks good, somewhat nice, but not most of the people can able to come and try CSS because CSS is hard. A lot of people they think it's hard. Tailwind after Tailwind CSS, can learn the basic syntax, basic, it's just in a layman terms, right? Just a human readable format. You can just, let's say text size, Excel, background color, 500. So these are all the things, basic things. Tailwind just changed everything. Tailwind just changed the game. You can literally see the difference before the Tailwind, after the Tailwind. Personally, I'm using Tailwind. And if you are using Shad CN, that is a good UI thing, UI library. They are also using Tailwind. You can just append your own Tailwind classes and change the style. Yeah. So if you are planning to get started, I think absolutely go ahead with the Tailwind CSS. It saves a lot of time. I built a lot of product. All my product are using Tailwind CSS. Yeah, it's easy to use, highly customizable. And yeah, so if you are about to get started, use ShadCN. So that is more accessibility focused UI library. It handles all the complex calendar logics and drop down, nested drop downs, combo boxes, etc. So probably just get started with that and learn Tailwind CSS and just try to make the styles change. So yeah, Tailwind CSS is good to go. My first option. Any other questions? Any other question regarding to? Please answer to the Zinsu. Who's Zinsu? Okay, should I use Facebook, Instagram, etc. ads? No. So this is one of the common mistakes people used to do. Okay, so those ads are very expensive. Okay, so personally, I have spent $0 on marketing for my products because what I do is a simple hack. Okay, I don't go and post promote my products. Let's say there are a group of people working in art. Okay, they are doing paintings, but I'm doing something related to food delivery or any other application that is not related to them. Okay, if I go there and pitch it to them, nobody is going to buy that, right? So what you have to do is you have to pitch your product in the right space. So for that, my first go-to option is to use Reddit. So Reddit is the beauty of Reddit is, as I talked about the clusters, right? So I just talked about this clusters here. Yeah. So this is you. Just search any categories on Reddit. Let's say if you have ADHD, go and search ADHD. 2 million people are there in this community. What do you need? You can just throw your questions. It's free of cost. You can just ask any questions. Just show your products. Okay. Some Reddits have some strict rules. You can't promote your own products there. But most of the subreddits, they have, excuse me, they have this option called uh, Show Off Saturday, where you can just promote your own products on Saturday only. So that's a weekend. 69% of the Reddit users are from US. If you are building a SaaS, then Saturday is a weekend. So I probably suggest you to launch it on after 7 p.m. Okay. So in that time, people will use Reddit a lot, especially in US and across all the sites abroad. You will get a lot of traction. Okay. I'm not kidding. So I just shared multiple side projects there. Especially if I'm just building Android related, I will just go to Android dev and I will just share it. Mostly I just build open source product that get a lot of traction. So you will easily get 30,000 visitors or 10,000 visitors in just matter of few hours. Imagine pitching your product in ad, even if you just put the targeted ads and spend your money, that is not going to always work. Just find a community, even if let's say the people are 100 people are there, I'm just going there and pitching it. I'm just pitching it to the very relevant people who's in this field, who's having this problem. So Reddit is having this beautiful community concept. So basically the cluster, if you have products related to ADHD, you can go there and promote it and talk about brainstorming session, find feedbacks, ask a lot of questions, go through other people's posts and read the comments. Reddit is not about reading the post. You have to read through the entire comments. Okay, so yeah. So if you love to do design, there is a Reddit community for designers. Go ahead and explore it. What problems they are facing. So you can just pitch in the solution. You have to show the problem and you have to show the solution. Okay, so you have the problem. I just solved this problem. So that's just how simple it is. Okay, so that's how I got my customers for all my products. Not only this, all my products. So especially through Reddit only and few with Twitter. So Twitter, I do have audience like 2K audience. That is not much. My audience is mostly on Android developers, not on just common people. But yeah, so Reddit works. So if you are planning to build something big and you wanted to collect some data, feedback, or just go and promote it on Reddit on Saturdays. That's it. Any other question? Don't spend money on ads. It's a wrong way to do that when you are about to start. So if you just do it in the Reddit based style, which I mentioned, you can easily able to uh, show up in the Google search in the first page itself. So that's the traffic you will get from the Reddit. Yeah, just use Reddit. Any other questions? Also, one important thing which I'm about to say, when you are naming your product, make sure it's very easy to remember. Don't make it over complicated, and don't make it something similar to other products. Okay, like if you are planning to build Adidas, don't make it as Abibas or something like that. Okay, you got my point, right? Don't do that. So make it very unique. So something like Google, Yahoo, so something like that. Okay, so you can easily end up in the Google search because not a lot of players are there. You can able to get all the social media handles, and yeah, so that's a unique, best thing you do. What else? Any? I will take two more questions. So yeah, feel free to ask. One more from a design background. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, okay. Take your time. How was the journey to deploy the app after design was done? Like the design system design challenges for a UX designer, how you cover that without expertise in hand. So are you talking about design system or system design? Can you just give me okay, system design. Okay. Okay, so you don't need to confuse both design and system design, because you don't need to what I'm trying to say is don't so first thing you have to do is like how many servers clusters. Okay, okay, got your point. Okay, so this is one of the common mistakes that people used to make. Thanks, buddy. Okay, so you don't need a lot of clusters actually. So I usually prefer serverless, so it will just scale automatically. So that's why I just mentioned Cloudflare. So since I think your friend uses Cloudflare a lot, I think. So yeah, obviously, yeah. So Cloudflare Workers is one of the beautiful solution. It can just scale millions of transaction which is happening. So you don't need to do add additional servers or clusters or nothing like that. So Cloudflare Workers is built for that. So that's how I just went all in all serverless. So yeah, so that's the solution. You don't need to make it more complex. So just use simple solutions. And people talk about like monolith or clusters. So that is the next level challenge once you basically scale your application. But when you are about to start, just pick the tech stacks like Cloudflare or Railway and Supabase is also good. So you can just basically with the free tier, you can just do start with yeah, obviously serverless is yeah. So a lot of people are obviously using serverless. So I'm using that, so I don't face any problem with that. So if you are planning to build, so serverless makes your life much more easier, and also it's very cost effective. So you don't need to think about a lot of stuffs like how many clusters or how many use simultaneous users my application is going to have. You don't need to think about all this stuff. Just go with the flow. I actually built it during one of the hackathons. How do I go about making it as a product? Tech stack, React, Node.js, use OpenAI, Supabase for DB and auth. Okay, so one simple solution solution is just start. If you are okay with do build in public, just share your progress, show your work, basically. So if you're okay with that, okay, so you can just build it privately. But if you just build in public, a lot of people will, at first nobody will give, give attention to your post and like that. But after a certain period of time, you will attract like-minded people. Okay, so the people who's exactly looking forward for your solution. Okay, so since you have mentioned open AI, a lot of people are, the trend is going on, so a lot of people are looking forward for open AI, and a lot of people are using Supabase. Okay, so those audience will come, your algorithm will basically suggest you those posters to other users. So basically, just share your work. As I said before, just share your work. Those customers, those people will become your initial customers. So that's what I did. So whatever I'm just saying, it happened in my life. So that's what I'm just saying. I'm not saying it, randomly. So it happened. So that's why I'm just sharing it from my experience, actually practical experience, to be honest. So yeah, just just do one small question here. um I'm actually 80%, I would say yes. Not now according to the standards, but mm, only the top designers can able to survive. Okay, so when I say top designers, I'm just talking about the designers who's actually top in our current tech. Okay, let's say that if you just pick any designers, you can able to pick 2 to 3 designers, right? The hardcore designers, those people can able to survive because they already have audience. But AI not only replace the designers, it will probably replace everyone. Mark my words, it's going to happen. Maybe in 2 years maximum. So it actually happened because GitHub Copilot is actually working on GitHub Next is actually working on a stuff where Copilot can able to write 80% of your code. When I say 80%, it will just you just need to give a prompt. It will just do all the initial setup. It will just create entire running application, write the test cases. So for till now, you did all the things. You will ask Copilot to write the test cases. You ask Copilot to write the syntax for you. But now Copilot have an ability to ask to do all those sort of things. So AI won't replace other jobs like apart from tech, other jobs. So if you are good enough, you can survive in this field. So a lot of people are jumping into this AI hype. So those people will have a better future. They have understanding. Yeah. So people who don't care about anything to learn about the latest technology, they are going to face a very hard time in future. So that's for sure. Yeah. So the same logic, Git replace AI because also. So I'm not sure. Uh, okay, I'm sure. I don't understand your question. Like Git replace AI. So what do you? I think so. Yeah. So go that phase. Yeah. So no. So GitHub CEO plans to do a live demo at GitHub Universe where you can just he is going to build 17 applications. So by watching that, we can able to see how it's going to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. GitHub. Yeah. Any other question? I will just take one more question. Yeah. One more question. So any other question? So I will just share those slides to Siddharth bro, and you can just get slides from him. And if you have any questions, you can just go to my website, spikeysanjay.com, and you can just reach out to me, send me a mail, or yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sanju. Yeah, thanks
Thank you.
everyone for attending. I could see like still there are like 21 people on the call. Like we have more than 30 minutes ahead. Like that shows the feedback. So I'm not going to reiterate that again. Thanks, Sanju. Thanks for your time and also thanks for staying late. Yeah, and also people, if you want to reach out to him, like you know where he is, just Google Spikey Sanju. Like he'll be able to get.
I will just share my portfolio link so that you can just 1 minute.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
in the meantime, people this sessions are going to happen throughout this month. So the next session will be tomorrow at the same time at 6:30. You'll be getting the links to your registered email ID. So if you haven't registered, please do visit T4G, that is techforgood.gdgcbe.com, or else you can just scan the QR code on the screen. Yeah, I think Sanjay has posted the link. If you want, you can click on it before we close this. So yeah, this recordings of the sessions will be published on the website. So again, like for anything, everything, t4g.gdgcb.com, keep a watch on it. That will be our place of coordination, communication, anything there. Like just bookmark this URL for the next 1 month. You'll be able to see the updated sessions, recordings of the sessions, and everything will be placed there. Thanks everyone.
thank you.
Thanks Sanjay. Thanks. Bye.